Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Wonderful, quite frankly, to have you along for the ride, despite I don't let losses that I'm not directly involved in really bother me that much often. But I am very much bothered by this Eagles loss to the Dallas Cowboys. And I think the reason for it is not only did they just play terrible in the second half again, not only was it another 2 quarters of terrible football again, which just doing a quick little rundown of the schedule yesterday. Week 1, 3, 4, 5. This is the early goings of the season, people. This is why I look at it. And I'm like, all right, well, if you got first-year play caller, I can understand why you'd be working out some kinks. You got the same issues going on now. It's not just that Dallas game to open up the season. It's forever this season that you've been having issues with. All of a sudden the offense just, where did it go? It's gone. It's not doing it. It's terrible. So I'll run through a couple of these games just to, really relive some wonderful memories. But after this Dallas game, here's why I think it stuck with me. One, because they were, again, terrible for a long period of time in the game, 2 quarters to be exact. The other is that you play again on Friday, which I know to some people, like, hey, you get another opportunity. You get another opportunity just a couple of days later. Don't have to wait till Sunday. You get right back out there. You do your thing. Hey, remember that's how we felt going into the first Giants game of the season before the Eagles got their asses handed to them? And then here's another reason why I don't feel so great after this one. This loss is sticking with me. Because health-wise, it is sticking with the Philadelphia Eagles. Drew Makuba, who I am in no way, shape, or form putting in the Hall of Fame, but I am saying he is your starting safety. He's going to be out for this game. Reed Blankenship most likely going to be out for this game. So that's a bit of a 1-2. Both your starting safeties are going to be out for this game. Adoree Jackson, who none of us are putting in the Hall of Fame. He's likely going to miss this game with a concussion. You have so many issues with this team and with this secondary already, and now you're going to be going down the depth chart to try to solve some problems against a team that has really put it together this season in Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. So that's why this Dallas loss has stuck with me just a little bit more. And the other thing is, what's going to change here offensively? Apparently, according to Nick Sirianni, and this surprises me literally zero. Like, look, you want to make a change defensively. Nick Sirianni is not going to go die on Sean Desai Hill, okay? He's going to go die on Sean Desai Hill and make sure that Sean Desai stayed as defensive coordinator and defensive play caller in 2023 during the collapse. No, if they wanted to make the change to Matt Patricia, bing, bang, boom, they're going to make the change to Matt Patricia. No strings attached. No feelings hurt from the Sirianni relationship, okay? But Kevin Patullo, he's going to die on that hill. And I don't think this is going to be a situation with Howie Roseman or Jeffrey Lurie where it's like remember Mike Rowe, the wide receivers coach? Doug Peterson said at the end of the year that he was coming back and the next day he was fired. Like, I had that thought yesterday. Is this going to be where Doug Peterson, and I'll let you hear from Doug Peterson himself, is this going to be where Doug Peterson comes out and just says, hey, here's the deal. Yeah, I like this guy. He's going to be here. And then the next day it's like, hey, by the way, the Eagles just fired Kevin Patullo as their offensive coordinator. Or they have changing play calling responsibilities. If this change, here's what is literally the only hope. If you really don't want Kevin Patullo calling plays, your only hope is, I believe, that Nick Sirianni starts calling plays. That's if you think Kevin Patullo is worse than Nick Sirianni. Now, I always talk about this. Nick Sirianni fired himself from play calling responsibilities. Jonathan Gannon even highlighted that in his, I think it was his introductory press conference with the Arizona Cardinals. He's like, I was talking to Nick, and Nick's like, maybe I should give up the play calling. I'm like, yeah, you should probably give up the play calling. He's like, well, what would people say? He goes, who cares? Well, I'll be looking for jobs if it doesn't work. Thanks, Jonathan Gannon. But either way, the only the only, like, if there was a betting, like, odds-on favorite to be the next Eagles play caller after Kevin Patullo, it would, of course, be Nick Sirianni. And the reason I believe that is because he's the only person that wouldn't pants his boy, okay? If you give play calling to Jeff Stoutland, for instance, who I've said for a long time, and now a lot of other people are starting to catch up to this, they're like, I'm not blaming Jeff Stoutland in this, but he seems like a guy whose opinions I'd like to hear from if I'm Kevin Patullo. If I'm trying to organize what this offense is doing, especially in the run game, and the run game has had a huge struggle this year, and he's your run game coordinator, are you just not listening to Jeff Stoutland? What's going on here? The offensive line has been struggling big time in the run game. Are you guys just not doing what Jeff Stoutland's telling you all of a sudden? What's going on? But Jeff Stoutland call plays, don't see it happening without him getting that shine. Nick Sirianni could do it and not need the shine. Nick Sirianni could do it, and basically nobody would notice. Nick Sirianni could do it and make Kevin Patullo look pretty damn good. Scott Loeffler takes over play calling, the Eagles quarterbacks coach. He takes over play calling. He's going to want that shine. You bring in a Brian Dable, a Chip Kelly. You bring in anybody from outside the organization, yeah, it's going to look like, well, pretty obvious that you've made a change offensively. But all that is for naught. Because yesterday, Nick Sirianni spoke on two separate occasions yesterday in his press conference about what's going to happen when it comes to the play caller and what's going to happen with the coaching staff. Is anything going to change for the Eagles between now and the end of the season? Here he is when he is asked more generally about the coaching staff. And then I'll let you hear what he had to say specifically about Kevin Patullo.
Like, we got the right people. As players, as coaches, that have had success, and we're all searching for answers to make it more consistent. There's some good things, obviously. There's some not so good things, and we got to find the things that we really can hang our hat on, and then the compliments that come off of that. And when we talk about identity, we always want to play tough, detailed together. That's never changing. But the way you play each individual game obviously can change. So it can't be just, hey, well, we got to run it better, or hey, we got to pass it better, or hey, we got to play action better. Because at some point in each of these games that we have left, and really all that we're focused on is this next one, it'll have to be a little bit of everything, and to reach the goals that we want to reach.
I really hope that they reach the goals, and we all hope that they, quite frankly, reach the goals. I'd love to see them, reach the goals of being a good offense. That's what I'd like to see them do. But I find it very difficult to believe that this team is going to turn it around. I find it very difficult in terms of having a consistent scoring offense. I mean, I know a lot of people look at this. Maybe even the majority of people look at this and they go, they're 8-3. What are you worried about? We're not used to a world where the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. We're not used to that. All right. Yeah. Even in the McNabb run, we kind of saw how the story was going to end time after time. I mean, we're talking about what, 5 NFC championship games. You win one of them. Right? We kind of knew after a while, I know what's going to happen. I know how this is going to end. But throughout those seasons, you would see that team, this team could win the Super Bowl. This team could do it. And as we were living through it, we're thinking, maybe this is it, But then you win it with this franchise quarterback, Jalen Hurts, with this head coach. And the standard changes with this defensive coordinator. The standard changes, and it's no longer about getting to the playoffs with a number one seed or getting into the playoffs looking like a team that really or looking like a team with a record that that is astounding. It's about whether or not you look like a team throughout the season, like look like a team, not just the record, but look like a team that can make a Super Bowl run. This team doesn't look like that. 8-3 is great. Like the Bears, for instance, they've played some great football as of late. They've won 4 in a row. I look at them and I don't go, that team could win a Super Bowl. They're a great regular season team. Last year, watching the Eagles play football, they looked like a Super Bowl champion waiting to happen. They dominated football games. Not every game. I mean, you're going to have your bumps in the road, but they certainly didn't get to a point in the season where you could look at the schedule through 12 games and go, or excuse me, through 11 games and go, oh, wow. Of these 11, they've dominated 2? Really? And one of those games, you played Carson Wentz, all right? And then another one of those games, you played a team whose coach got fired like 4 games later. Those are the brags of the season. Those are the brags. Those are the games that we're looking at going, oh man, we really dominated that team. No, that's not. We're Super Bowl contenders because we blew out the Giants. We beat Carson Wentz. No, that's not. No. Now, good football. I mean, look, 8-3. You're not going to argue, and there's no argument for whether or not you're a good football team when you're 8-3. You don't luck into 8-3. And the Eagles certainly, in all these games, they have made some great things happen. And whether it's the Rams game coming alive in the second half after not so much in the first half, whether it's the blocked field goal at the end of the game by Jordan Davis, you got to make those plays happen. And they made the play. I'm not going to, they were lucky. They're lucky they made the play. No, they made the play. They're not lucky that they made the play. They made it. It's like, hey, I'm just going to kick this ball into your hand, okay? I just feel like it. Thanks. No, that's not how it works. So watching this team this season, they don't look like a team that is ready to compete for a Super Bowl. And I don't have confidence, unfortunately, that all of a sudden they're going to figure it out and look like a team that can just go out there and dominate. And look, I hope on Black Friday they go up there and they put up 41 points on the Bears and they win that game 41-13 or something astounding like that. I don't see it happening. I wish I could look at A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts and this offensive line and Saquon Barkley and Tank Bigsby, hopefully, and Dallas Goedert go, oh, yeah, here we go. This offense, they're so much better than 23 points per game. They're going to get back to that 28, 30 point per game type of performance week in and week out. Don't see Kevin Patullo cracking the code on that. And for those that want to be patient, Nick Sirianni gave Kevin Patullo a ringing
this far into the season
yesterday. So the question, I'll set it up here with confidence in Kevin Patullo and not making a change. Have you thought about making a change
this far into the season?
Yeah, no, I haven't. And again, I think that it's never. I think we always are looking for answers. As coaches, we're always looking for answers, and we're never into assigning blame. It's just looking for answers. And I think what sometimes can happen is it's just this. Well, it's not just that, and it's every piece of the puzzle: coaching, playing, execution, scheme, everything. We got to be better in all of those aspects. And so yesterday, I thought Kevin did a good job of calling it. Obviously he's going to want plays back, just like every player and myself. We all want plays back. And when you're going through it like that, that's what you're always looking at, and it's never in football just one thing, even though you're always trying to find answers. So no, I haven't considered that, Dave.
I'm not considered. What is he going to do? Not go to bat for his boy? What do you expect? When the question's getting asked, sometimes I play a little game in my head, and this is how exciting my life is. I play a little game in my head where I go, this is how he's going to answer it. And bingo. I've talked to Kevin. He's got it. I've talked to Kevin. He's got to be more aggressive. Nick Sirianni yesterday continued to say that they haven't taken their foot off the gas. They didn't take their foot off the gas in the second half against the Cowboys. It's easy to say that when you score 21 points in the first half and nothing in the second half. I would love to know and somehow crack the code on what's the problem with the Philadelphia Eagles in this offense. I'd love to be able to crack the code. And I know the Eagles want to crack that code as well. I know everyone wants to see how you crack that code, but I would love to know what they think the problem is. I mean, Nick Sirianni, heard him right there talk about it's not about finding blame, it's about finding solutions. Okay. In that world, no one ever gets fired. No. It's okay. We're just because you're so terrible, we're still looking for solutions, but you're doing great. What? That's not the world. What are we doing? And Nick Sirianni yesterday talking about Kevin Patullo like this, talking about play calling like this, it just makes zero sense to me. I mentioned I went through some of the games yesterday, okay, for this season. Just to start it off, these are the warning signs. Week 1 against Dallas, 3 points in the second half. Now, I don't want to go down the avenue of playing the what if game. What if CD Lamb doesn't drop 4 passes in that game? What if he doesn't have 3 big drops in the second half? What if he doesn't do that? I'm not even focusing on that. I'm just focusing on what the Eagles did as an offense. 3 points in the second half versus Dallas. All right, Rado, it's week 1. Week 1, first time play caller. We're good. Week 1. All right. Let's jump to week 3 against the Rams. Week 3 against the Rams. Now, week 2, remember, was in Kansas City. They actually scored throughout that game, but not great. Obviously, they had a couple field goals, or they had a field goal in that game. But it was kind of consistently throughout the whole game bad. It wasn't great. It just was enough to win. All right. Week 3 against the Rams, you score 1 touchdown on your first drive of the game. Nothing the rest of the first half. Second half, they start airing the football out. They're down big early, and that's when everything changed. You get the block field goal at the end of the game there by Jordan Davis. Second half, great, but early on, not great. Week 4 against Tampa Bay, 24 points in the first half, 7, and I believe that was on after a fumble that put you on their 24-yard line, set you up for your only touchdown in the second half. Week 5, that's against the Broncos. Great first half, scored early in the second half, and then 3 and out. End of the game. The reason I bring this up is not to bring back bad memories, but of these games that I mentioned, you lost one of them. You lost the game against the Broncos. That's the only one. The reason I bring them up is because this is week 1, 3, 4. I mean, even if you want to include week 2 and struggling against the Chiefs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First 5 games of the season. Where you're talking about long droughts offensively. You're talking about playing only 2 quarters as an offense of anything worth a damn. And now we're talking about this going into week 13. Still, what's the change? What's the solution? Whether or not you want to blame Kevin Patullo or not, Nick, you mean to tell me that with your same quarterback, same 2 main wide receivers, even Jahan Dotson, who was a late addition last year, he's been here a year plus now, obviously. Same running back, same tight end, a play caller that was here watching it all last year and supposedly learning from the great Kellen Moore. You mean to tell me that you're now down from scoring 27 points per game to 23 points per game? That's what you mean to tell me? And all the while, you're trying to find the solution to get back to the production that you had last year. And you can't even get a run game going. We're finding solutions. Where are we looking for these solutions? Are we watching the film? Are you trying to break down the situations with play calling? Where are you finding these solutions? Because when I look at the football field with the game on the line on a 3rd and 2, and I see Will Shipley in the backfield, and I don't mean for Will Shipley to be catching any strays here. I like Will Shipley. But if you're telling me I got Saquon Barkley on my team, and you're telling me also that I got a guy like Tank Bigsby averaging 9.2 yards per carry and had a 9-yard run in this game or an 8-yard run in this game against the Cowboys, and then he never touched the football again. I'm lining up 3rd and 2, game on the line in the shotgun with Jalen Hurts, and I got Will Shipley next to me. That's where you thought the solution was? That's where you're like, where's that? I know where to find that solution. I know where to. Here it is, Will Shipley. No, that's not how that works. I'm baffled. I don't feel at all, and I never expect a team to be what they were the previous year, and that's just foolish. I didn't expect Saquon Barkley to have 2,000 yards. I didn't even expect Saquon Barkley to have 1,600 yards this season. I knew it was going to be more of a down year for him. Historic years aren't like, oh, well, a historic year, now he gets better. No, that doesn't happen, especially with running backs in the NFL. I didn't expect a crazy year from Saquon Barkley, but I did not expect this. I did not expect a struggle-filled season from this Eagles offensive line. And I certainly didn't expect it to be this bad offensively, where you can't put, rarely, other than 2 games this season, can't put even 3 quarters together in a football game. This is bad. So where are we looking for these solutions? If you're not going to be assigning blame, then you have to, well, I guess, find that solution somewhere, right? They're grasping at straws for answers. They're grasping at straws. So I looked throughout this, the list of people that you could possibly bring in. No, they're not going to hire an offensive coordinator and bring him in and call plays in week 13. I mean, I know that they fired or alleviated Sean Desai of defensive play calling responsibilities at 10-3, and they gave it over to Matt Patricia. That it's not the same thing. The unfortunate part about all this is that I really don't see much change happening here. Like, I think Nick Sirianni is already influencing game plan. I think he's already influencing what he wants his offense to look like. Kevin Patullo is playing in those guidelines, playing within those parameters. And that's the way the offense is this year. I thoroughly believe that the first step in solving any problem is admitting that there is one. You can't tell me that this is even anything close to the same offense that we saw last year. And a lot of that comes to the run game. A lot of that goes to the offensive line. And if the offensive line was playing better, then I think you'd be looking at Kevin Patullo in a little bit of a better light. But he's the change from last year to this year. Mekhi Becton is another big change from last year to this year. Tyler Steen from last year to this year. Steen went in last year, played sparingly, but he played well. Not, of course, the Mekhi Becton level. And I did try this season, going into it, talking time and time again about Mekhi Becton and how I wasn't going to let how well he was playing. I wasn't going to let that influence my judgment on Tyler Steen. In other words, I'm not going to expect Tyler Steen to be Mekhi Becton. Like, that's just, not only is it not fair, it's not right, more importantly. And yeah, no, he hasn't even been anything close to Mekhi Becton. He hasn't been good, unfortunately. Even taking away the comparison of the high level of play from Becton last year, Tyler Steen still has not been good. Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson battling injuries throughout the year. I don't know what's going on with Jordan Mailata. Now Lane Johnson's going to be out for another at least 3 weeks here. Possibility of saving him for the playoffs. And now your defense is banged up. All right, so if you're looking for solutions, where can you find them? And the unfortunate part about this is, and this is, you want to talk about unfair, a lot of this is going to end up falling on Jalen Hurts' shoulders. Because with all these other mistakes happening around him, any little mistake that he makes gets highlighted tenfold. Because when you're the quarterback, and I say this all the time, but it's true, when you're the quarterback, you could be a very strong deodorant when everything else around you stinks. Now, maybe you compound the problem, like the 4th and 6 in Green Bay. Instead of throwing the slant, you throw the deep ball. Maybe you compound the problem trying to do too much. Or maybe you just let the game come to you. I would like to see the Eagles just let the game come to them. And one of the things that I got from A.J. Brown after the game was they didn't execute plays. They didn't take what the defense was giving them in the second half. They were able to do it in the first half. They weren't able to do that in the second half. There are different points in the game, especially last year, where you just saw Jalen Hurts take what the defense gave him. If there's a short route available, take that short route. Dump off to Saquon Barkley, dump it off to Saquon Barkley. One of the things that really impressed me in this game was that the Eagles still found a way to get Saquon Barkley involved in the game, despite not having success running the football, as he was only running the football 2.2 yards per carry against the Cowboys on Sunday. You got him involved, though, with 7 receptions in the passing game. He could still make plays for you. Unfortunately, during one of those plays, he fumbled the football. Very rare occurrence as an Eagle for Saquon Barkley to fumble the football. Continue to get him the football, continue to get him in space, and he can make plays happen for you. It feels like the Eagles, without the ability right now to impose their will, it feels like the Eagles right now are not taking what defenses are giving them. And in a lot of ways, to use a baseball analogy, they always talk about how home runs are supposed to be accidents. I think that's an old Reggie Jackson line. Home runs are supposed to be accidents. The Eagles look like they're going up there trying to hit home runs. That's what they look like. Whether that's in the run game with a big run from Saquon out of nowhere, or that's a deep ball down the field that's just not there. When it's there, it's great. You see Devontae Smith open. There was one play earlier in the game against the Cowboys that Jalen missed, threw to the wrong shoulder of Devontae Smith, and he couldn't make the play, unfortunately. Then there was another one where Devontae Smith was able to make the adjustment on it, a little underthrown, but he made a great catch on it, and Jalen still put the ball there for his wide receiver to make a play. And then after that, it just seems like they're trying to impose a will that's just not there. They're trying to land a right cross that doesn't have the same old stank it used to on it. If that look, when you're the change from last year and you're Kevin Patullo, you're going to take a whole hell of a lot of blame, whether it's fair or not. You're going to take blame because you're the new guy. I know that's a very easy thing. I think if this offensive line was playing at a much higher level, then we'd be talking a little bit more about how great this offense has looked. But that hasn't been the case. And when we see play calls the way we see them develop, and we see personnel out there on the football field the way we see the personnel out there on the football field. And look, I know you can talk about running backs coaches making the decision as to who the running back is in a particular situation. 3rd and 2 game on the line, Will Shipley should not be on the football field. And that's coming out of the 2-minute warning. So it's not like, well, did Saquon just break off a big run first off? No. That's great. That break off a big run this year. That's great. Or did they just use him 3 times in a row? Also, no. That's coaching. That's 100% coaching. Now, also speaking about coaching, and Nick Sirianni was asked about this yesterday, and Landon Dickerson was asked to clarify his comments because I only saw Landon Dickerson say this. I didn't hear him say this. He talked about how the Cowboys came out in a 5-man front, and on a lot of the plays, we just weren't ready for that 5-man front. And I made the joke yesterday. It's like, what kind of sorcery is a 5-man front? Oh my God, are they the first team to ever put 5 men on the line of scrimmage? Oh my goodness. Impossible. But basically, and this is, I believe Nick when he says this, because I think he wouldn't have won a Super Bowl if he did anything else. Every coach tries to prepare you for every scenario. I think Landon used the analogy of gambling. You put odds on what kind of formations you're going to see, what kind of fronts you're going to see, what kind of defensive fronts you're going to see. And for whatever reason, for whatever reason, the Eagles did not practice enough against 5-man front. They said the odds are they're going to play 4-man front. And then that put the offensive line in a pretzel for whatever reason. Landon tried to clarify his comments on WIP yesterday where he said, no, I don't want to make it seem like I'm showing up the coaches or anything. But basically, we practiced a little bit against it, but not a lot. And Nick Sirianni highlighted it again yesterday during his press conference. I still don't get how there's not, as good as this offensive line is, as good as Jeff Stoutland has been in his career, how that just put them in such a bind as an offense. They were looking for an answer, and Jeff Stoutland, unfortunately, couldn't find it. Could not find it. Look forward to hearing from Vic Fangio today. Look forward to hearing from Kevin Patullo today, believe it or not. I always want as much information as I can get. And tough opponent coming in on Friday. Your Philadelphia Flyers got shut out last night, unfortunately. They took that one on the chin to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not a fun one. Their first shutout loss of the season. They lost 3-0 yesterday. 76ers back at it tonight. 8 o'clock tip-off against the Orlando Magic. So, Joel Embiid and the Sixers. So, Joel Embiid is now having issues with the other knee. Not the knee that kept him out, in the offseason, but the other knee. Still having soreness. Tyrese Maxey still playing at an incredible level. They're unfortunately just coming off this loss here to the Miami Heat, where the Heat just continued to put them in their place throughout the game. But Sixers just looked real small against the Heat. And after Joel Embiid, not really being able to count on him, and Andre Drummond and Noah Dembona, they just had no answer for first off like the height, and then second, the physicality of the Miami Heat. They got the Magic tonight. Again, 8 o'clock tip-off. VJ Edgecombe missed the game against the Heat. It's a little banged up. Dealing with a calf injury, I believe it is. So they're going to – I don't even know if he's going to be in the lineup tonight. Jared McCain took a big step forward there against the Heat. Great to see him come up with 15 points in most minutes he's played this season. Justin Edwards continues to grow back more into the player that we saw him play into last year. But all in all, this Sixers team just looks like a team that is running out of gas quickly. And when you're talking about Tyrese Maxey, last I looked, he was playing about 50 more minutes than anybody else in the NBA, maybe even 70. It was a pretty huge margin. All right. Look, when they're on top of their game, they're a fun team to watch. They're a fun team to follow. Yeah, even in this loss to the Heat, they kept fighting. They kept trying to make a game of it, and the Heat just pushed them away each and every time, just constantly building 10, 12-point leads throughout. The best thing I've learned from the Sixers so far to this point in the season is that exactly what Tyrese Maxey said on Media Day, he's lived up to. And if you hadn't heard it at Media Day, they've made it a promo for the Sixers. And that is basically, you know what brand of basketball you're going to get. You know what style of basketball. You know what effort you're going to get from the 76ers each and every night. And Tyrese Maxey has certainly held true to that. And regardless of the win or loss tonight against the Magic, I know what brand of basketball I'm going to see from the Sixers. So I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. Hey, let me tell you about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. And how about the Game Time app? Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Just use promo code Farzy for $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine. Oh, how you know what? Before I do that, just one more word of wisdom from AJ Brown as to whether or not he's worried about the guys in the locker room after the loss to the Cowboys.
Not too worried about his group. Not too worried about it, you know.
If he's not worried, none of us should be worried. AJ Brown just over there like, hey, man, we're good. No worries at all. No problem. All right, what's going on? Lee Me Loam, what's going on? Punk, hello. Sean, hello. Morning, Farzy and friends. Happy Thanksgiving. If you are struggling, dial 998. There is always someone who cares about you. That's very nice. That's a very good message. Thank you very much. At least this collapse didn't start with a blowout loss, just a stupid loss, says Sean Gillespie. I like how we are claiming the beginning of a collapse. It feels so much like 2023, from the first-year play caller to finding ways to win throughout the season. It feels so much like 2023. And I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Cousin? What's up, cousin? Sean Gillespie, please bring in Chip Kelly. Nick is probably worse than Patullo, somehow a Super Bowl champion. Chip Kelly ain't coming back here. Like, Jeffrey Lurie has owned the team since 94, 95. I think Chip Kelly is the only coach. This is just coming to mind, so excuse me. Was Rich Kotite finished the season before he got fired? Ray Rhodes, I know, finished the season. Other than Chip Kelly, he generally gives a coach a second year to bounce back. Like, hey, you're allowed a down year. I'll give you that one more year to prove yourself. Yeah, he fired Rich Kotite at the end of the season in 1994. It wasn't during the season. Pat Shurmur. Well, there's a name I haven't thought of in forever. Pat Shurmur. Now I'm interested where he is. Pat Shurmur got to coach that last game of the season against the Giants, which, by the way, he won. Just for funsies there. Yeah, I typed that name in. What the hell? Maybe Pat Shurmur's the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Watch that actually happen now. But yeah, Chip ain't it. Chip's never coming back here. Natalie. Hello, Natalie. Fire Poop Tula. I'm for it. That's a great nickname. I will even take Jason Garrett. Could you imagine, Sean Gillespie, could you imagine Jason Garrett and Nick Sirianni on the sidelines together in a clap off? No, I'm clapping harder. No, I'm clapping harder. Hey, I do the clapping around here. I'm a player's coach. No, I'm a player's coach. No, I'm a nice guy. No, I'm a nice guy. Shave the head in Syria to bring back the kid. Yeah, there you go. Island Ultra, hello. It goes up to Nick, maybe. Mr. Tab, good morning. Good morning. Mr. K, I'll just say. Good morning, Farzi. Good morning. I don't know if you catch the statement or not. Post-game interview, Barkley mentioned he's in a funk. I didn't play the funk comment from Saquon Barkley. I did see him say that after the game. What I played for you guys yesterday was Saquon saying he feels non-existent. Like the run game was so dominant last year, and this year he just feels non-existent. Like that was what I played for yesterday, and that's what really jumped out to me. And he's taking all the responsibility. And then you flip it over to Jordan Mailata, and Jordan Mailata is like, yeah, no, Saquon does not deserve. No, he's not taking responsibility for this. Like he's fine, he's great. We got it. We're one block away from making this happen. Like it's us. It's not Saquon. Great guy. It's us. It's not Saquon. And I'm like, well, I like that everybody's taking accountability. Okay, good for you guys. Now fix it. No point scapegoating KP when it comes down to Nick. Nick does call plays occasionally, but the regular play caller is Kevin Patullo. Nick obviously makes decisions on fourth down as to whether or not they're going to go for it or whatever. But KP's still calling the vast majority of the plays on this offense. And he's the change. He's the big change. Picked up some milk this morning. The Eagles running game was on the back of the carton. Hey-o! Thank you, cousin. Stoutland is having a difficult year with the many injuries, but he is a proven valuable asset. Sean, I agree. That's why when I talk about Jeff Stoutland, I'm not doing it in the vein of Jeff Stoutland has questions to answer. I'm doing it in the vein of, are they listening to Jeff Stoutland, or did they just give him a cute little title like run game coordinator? Because I'd like them to listen to Jeff Stoutland. And also the other part of this is I think we're used to the offensive line having depth. But I wonder with the new money allotment that the Eagles are in right now, and they still got money under the cap, but is this what they're paying a linebacker, they're paying a running back. We're not used to that ever. And they want to save money down the line when it comes to having to pay Cooper DeJean and Quentin Mitchell. And maybe Nakobe Dean and maybe Jordan Davis. And then obviously Jalen Carter, who was absolutely invisible against the Cowboys, by the way. So I wonder if the depth of the offensive line that we're used to isn't there for financial reasons. I would doubt it, but I'm looking for answers here. I'm looking for answers. Just like the Eagles, I'm looking for answers. The guys up front can't move people in the run game. Saquon isn't helping. I agree. I think it was Emmanuel Acho put down the video of Saquon not running through the hole on a play that he only got like 1 or 2 yards on, if that, running to the left against the Cowboys. Cousin, yeah, same 10-11 starters from last year. 10 out of 11 starters he has in Ice Pittsburgh with a 10-minute game-ending drive. How awesome was that? Stay off the Walt women there. I think Nick is a problem, honestly, just taking orders. Jason A says, I really think Nick is a problem, honestly, just taking orders. Potentially, But he was here last year, and the offense was cooking. Madden curse. I'm not confident in Nick's scheme, but KP isn't cutting it, and you're right. Guys ain't really playing like they did last year. Yep. Devontae went horizontal on that. He absolutely did on that catch. It was awesome. Brotherly shove. Lives. There we go. Oh, Rye. Hey, bud. YouTube changing things. Oh, thank you. Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving, Farzy. Thank you. I'm doing the turkey. I had no idea. So last year I did the turkey. Last year we went to my brother-in-law's. And what did I don't even remember what they had. I want to say they made pizza last year. And I was like, that's cute. I'm bringing turkey. So I did. I brought turkey because a lot of times people want turkey on Thanksgiving. I know it's become like a popular thing. Like, doesn't turkey suck? And I'm like, no, turkey's delicious. Delicious. You shut your mouth. But anyway, I was like, I'll make turkey. I had never made turkey before. So all I did was I got some big old breasts, okay? And I brought them home and I made it with the rind and all that stuff. And the brine and all that stuff. And I brought it over, and very, very nice. Everyone was very kind. Everyone loved it. And they asked for little to-go things of it. I was happy to oblige. And I didn't think of it. And then about a month ago, they were like, hey, can Mark make that turkey again? And a couple of people asked, can Mark make that turkey again? And I am happy to make the turkey again. I just have no idea what I did to that turkey. I don't know how I made it. People are looking forward to it, apparently. I have no idea what I did. I think all I did was like add Italian herbs and spices, because that's pretty much that's pretty much what I do anyway. But that's all I did. But it's probably what I did, but I don't know what I did. And I don't write stuff down because in my mind, I'm like a 90-year-old Italian woman who never writes down a recipe. Just, no, it's a little of this and a little of that. Rest in peace, my Aunt Angie. So yeah, I got to figure out how I made the turkey last year and crack that code again. We're hosting. And I also have to finish painting the den. I like to take on big house projects before we have a massive load of company come over the house. It's my motivation to actually get a project done. So I got to spackle the wall, put another coat of paint up, put up the trim, crown molding. What else there? Trim, crown molding, baseboard, and the baseboard. So I got a lot to do in the next 48 hours. But guess what? Unlike the Eagles, I'm going to solve it. Anyway, all I want for Christmas is a brand new news for Joel Embiid. Natalie, you and me both. Subliminal. Oh, that's an interesting name. Appreciate you. Good morning. Morning fam. Good morning. Sweet Pea. Is that April? Was YouTube being weird? Still mad about the game? What a crap show. Yeah, I agree. This Cowboys loss is worse than a blowout because we were blowing them out at first. Yeah, I agree. You blow a 21-point lead, that one stings a lot worse. A blowout, it's like you can just go, you know what? Not their day. But this was very much their day, and then they blew it. They choked. They did the thing that we always say the Cowboys do. Everyone else have a good Thanksgiving? Absolutely. No show tomorrow. Yeah, no Farsi show tomorrow, by the way. Idiot savant and turkey cooking. Thank you. Yeah, pretty accurate. I have seen, yeah, now that would be funny. They fire Doug Peterson. He goes and doesn't have success in Jacksonville. They replace Doug Peterson with Nick Sirianni, and then Nick Sirianni needs Doug Peterson to save his offense. Don't see that one happening. Hello, Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea. Hi, April. Everyone, hey, in all seriousness, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys get to enjoy with your friends and your family and all that. I hope it's not too stressful for those that have to travel or those that have to cook. I personally love cooking. I love being in the kitchen and all that. So I'm thrilled. I love being around my family. We are hosting. It's going to be the first Thanksgiving ever where my mom and dad will be with me and my wife's family. Usually Thanksgiving is with my wife's family. And Christmas Eve is ours. That's definitely the Farzetta holiday. But this is the first time I'm hosting Thanksgiving in our house since we moved here 2 years ago. 3 years ago? 2 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. So yeah, I wish you guys a wonderful, beautiful Thanksgiving. And inspired by Frank Sinatra, I wish you everything you want in life for your friends and your family. Lots of hugging and kissing and sweet dreams that become beautiful realities. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I will be with you guys on 2 different stops today. 1, Locked On 76ers at 10 o'clock. 2, Locked On Eagles Squad show with Jason Martinez, Harry Mays, and yours truly coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful holiday, everybody. Ari, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I don't know. Having Nick call plays would be worse than KP. Probably wouldn't matter. I agree. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We'll be back with you guys throughout the day. Farzi show off the rest of the week, actually. Miss Scoozy. Yeah, off the rest of the week. So I'll see you guys next week on the Farzi show. See you guys next week.